Ladies and gentlemen, oh, hell no! Nope, I'm done with this. Oh, that was unnecessarily loud. You could have just asked me to leave.
Howdy, folks. Your host, Double J, back here, coming at you live from my studio/RV dining room, located directly inside America. Once again, that's your host of Operation GCD, JJ Vance here, and more notably, not the vice president. Thanks again for joining me here tonight, folks of the interwebs, Guild GCD. We've had a few programming alterations for tonight's evening, and we've had a few technical delays. So appreciate you all bearing with us. Not gonna lie to you, folks of the interwebs, got a real barn burner here on deck for y'all tonight. I got guest Julia, the Cosmic Peach, back from maternity leave, so to speak. Welcome back to Operation GCD, ma'am, for the very first time.
Yes, very first time.
Whoa. Speaking of technical difficulties, sorry about that, ma'am.
Not only is it my first time, I'm already getting kicked off.
You're out of Yeah, you're out of here. You're out of control. You're getting out of pocket here.
Thanks for having me, though. Glad to be here.
Yes, I agree with Benjamin Salinas here. As known, you're well known for your beehole references, and there'll be plenty of those, I have no doubt.
There will be plenty of beehole discussion tonight.
Also joining me here, fellow Scotsman here, BT Wallace, and fellow Oregonians. Hey. Is that what they say in Oregonians there?
That's right.
Welcome back to Operation GCD, sir.
Thank you.
What's new? Oh, I apologize. Pardon me, sir. I apologize, man. I was making a smart-ass remark about your being back from maternity leave. What's new with the Cosmic Peach podcast?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I got some shows already posted that people can go check out. I've been, trying to get back into the saddle after taking some time off, but yeah, it's still up and going.
Get out, huh? That's taking some time off, right?
Right. Yeah, it's hard to podcast when your taint's busted wide open, but I'm back in the game. And
there's our first B-hole reference of the evening, folks.
Yes.
Nice.
And one second. Thank you, ma'am, and I apologize. BT Wallace Truth and Shadow podcast, sir. Right. I gotta get my shit together here, bud. What's new over there? Truth and Shadow.
Man, nothing really new. I mean, I'm just doing some dives on the algorithm, predictive programming, things like that. So you can find my Shadow Shorts about the algorithm on my podcast, Truth and Shadow podcast, where I also do interviews with different people.
You were describing a show. I do frequently tune into your show, sir, and you were describing a show I apparently have missed. Perhaps it's a newer one that I am not heretofore familiar with. Can you remind me again? We were talking offline about a show.
We were talking about. I had interviewed a guy named Jeffrey Spalding. He had spent quite a bit of time going to prisons and talking to serial killers, and we did one on John Wayne Gacy. So it was a pretty interesting dive into really interesting kind of character.
That is very interesting. And relative to tonight's discussion, Julie and I were going to do an Ed Gein discussion. Then she went ahead and had a baby that day and canceled on me. How dare she? And we'll be doing a lot of that tonight. And I'm not going to lie to you. When I was, one of my takes on Ed Gein, he seems like a kind of a Gacy character amongst his community as far as being well liked, and he's always doing like magic shows and stuff for the kids. Kind of clown, not a clown, but kind of clown-like, jester-like, if you will. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be some of our topic here tonight. And last but not least, the other JJ. This dude's out there trying to out JJ me, and while I respect it, sir, I will have none of it. Welcome back to Operation GCD. There, Jacob J, host of Rise to Liberties.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me back. And hey, like I said, with the JJ thing, I got to try, man. You're out there sucking it all up.
Again, I respect that. I respect the attempts, but how dare you, sir?
Yeah, it's all so, fun.
What's new with the Rise to Liberty podcast, sir?
Well, right now I'm actually in the middle of a deep dive of the West Memphis 3. That's a big thing. I've got a couple of shows coming up with William Ramsey, with the West Memphis 3. This is a case that I kind of feel some personal attachment to because the lie that these boys were just picked on because they listened to heavy metal and wore black t-shirts and stuff, and there are people like that out there, but they don't commit ritualistic murder. So I kind of feel
You mean to tell me that this was not part of the Satanic Panic?
Well, it definitely was. The Satanic Panic that was definitely planned and used.
We're in year 45 of that panic, sir. I hope you realize this.
Right. Still going.
I agree, though. It's like not everybody who shops at Hot Topic cuts little boys' penises off. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like this is not, those two things don't always go together.
Right. So yeah, that's what I'm going with, and also, of course, I'm looking at doing a review of the most recent John Wayne Gacy drama series that came out on Peacock, The Devil in Disguise, because of course, not a single point in that did they mention Philip Paskey, and I have a major issue with that.
The Clown and the Candyman stuff, right? Dean Coral and all the fucking pedo network stuff, right?
Well, that's weird, sir. We were just talking about John Gacy, so that's there'll be some good discussions we can get into tonight as well. And I'd like to hear your thoughts on West Memphis 3. I don't think for a moment. See, what you're pointing on is what I think is part of the larger operations of this panic we're in, this propaganda machine. It's not just the actual convincing of the panic; it's the spin around matters such as high-profile crimes. We see it there with the West Memphis 3. Them boys did something. I'm not saying they were solely responsible. In fact, I think there's a lot more to it. In fact, they did, however, get Damien Echols was interrogated, and it's videotaped and available on YouTube. He does know, in fact, details of the crime that only the killers and police should know. So do that with what you will, as far as calling them innocent, right?
Right. Exactly. And, I kind of have a hard time with somebody who is innocent and also happens to be best friends with Johnny Depp, and somebody that also
total coincidence
recreates, right, total coincidence. Somebody that also recreates Aleister Crowley pictures, that person clearly does not have any knowledge of the occult.
Absolutely not. All right. And Damien Echols ain't even his real name, dude. Who is his daddy and what does he do? We're not playing that game. Well, we're playing that game tonight, just not with him, but perhaps in the future. But I thank y'all, all three of y'all, for joining me here tonight to get a little GCD, and you folks of the interwebs here as well joining us. I have one quick plug for myself. Speaking of Satan shit, tomorrow night got a Saturday night Satan double feature of Operation GCD Thursdays on Saturday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Times. The anatomy of the Satanic Panic. And again, West Memphis 3 comes at a very interesting time in that panic. In fact, we are still panicked, folks. So, beware. But that is the life and crimes of Muppet Mikey Aquino, the man behind the PSYOP, and his pal, Ted Gunderson.
There's thousands of Americans out there. By the way, I've been shot with a laser beam twice.
Be careful, folks. They got Ted twice. Stay
laser beams.
Stay vigilant. So,
they got him right in his beehole too. It was awful.
Twice.
Tragic beehole shot. I understand. So, where would you folks like to kick this conversation off tonight? Would it be Ed Gein? We'll do it chronologically speaking. And as far as Satan murder goes, that's before the term Satanism, but it has all the hallmarks of anything we would call ritual satanic murder post 1966.
Yeah, I mean, I could open us up with a couple of points here if that's cool with you guys.
Of course.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's kind of like a pop culture thing. Within the last couple years, the guy Ryan Murphy, who did American Horror Story, also before that he did Glee. And with Glee,
wait a second.
Yeah, right.
I apologize. I'm not familiar with this Ryan Murphy character per se. Did you just tell me he did American Horror Story and then Glee?
No, he did Glee first, and then he did American Horror Story.
Oh, wow. Well, so Glee might be more of a scary show he did than I'm not sure. But what this is a weird dynamic.
It's weird, right? So listen, I got a whole fucking theory going on here about this guy. So he does Glee. And a lot of the people involved with Glee end up dying in mysterious ways. It's like Final Destination Glee.
And then, it is like that. I'm familiar with what you're talking about.
Right. And so then he goes on to make American Horror Story, a lot of conspiracy candy within almost every season of American Horror Story. Thank you, Brent. I see your comment there. And then he goes on now to make serial killer shows on Netflix. So first it's Glee, then it's American Horror Story. Now he's doing these series called Monster. The first one he did was about Jeffrey Dahmer. The second one he did was about the Menendez brothers. Now the third one has come out and it's about Ed Gein. And I find it very interesting that he is choosing these specific killers to do these series on, because they're all mentioned in Program to Kill. Even the Menendez brothers, it's like their dad was raping on them. They went crazy and killed their parents.
There's probably a lot more people folks raping on them kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. So it's like he chooses Jeffrey Dahmer, oddly enough, the Menendez brothers, and now Ed Gein, who he calls like the godfather of all serial killers. And so, you know,
well, if I may add some to that, well, hold on a second. Let me rewind there. First of all, excellent comment there, sir, about the satanic cult activity in and around the Bridgewater triangle, if you will. Not only is the we're going to be speaking of cannibals tonight, kid diddling cannibals allegedly with Ed Gein, right, amongst other things, psychopathic serial killers. Believe it or not, I knew a kid diddling. Well, I didn't know him. I met him. A kid diddling cannibalistic psychopathic serial killer who was once imprisoned within the same area there in the Bridgewater State Mental Hospital. And then but I have a theory that he's being used as a recruiter of sorts for occult activity with all these kids. He was in a lot of kid stuff, and they just kept letting him out, you know, amongst other things. This is years before I met him. Came face to face with him right there in Cascade County Jail. Pure evil. He may or may not have served me human meat burger also the year prior at the Hardys. That probably did happen. But today, in that same Bridgewater State Mental Hospital, allegedly, and I do stress the term allegedly, sits my old stalker and wannabe PR rep, Buffalo Jared Revisa. And I'm familiar with him, missed him in the introduction. Here he goes. That's Buffalo Jared. In the concept of this whole Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs and whatnot, or as I call him, Buffalo Jared, that actually originates with Ed Gein, right?
Yes. So Ed Gein was the inspiration for Silence of the Lambs, Psycho, and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, supposedly. Right. So how bad do you have to be to inspire not one, but 3 horror movies about you? You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, but is he a fall guy?
He is. So this is the thing, and we can get right into it if you want.
Well, what do you, if I may, ma'am, what do you gents know? Are you familiar with the tales of Ed Gein, this new Netflix documentary, or this Ryan Murphy character? He seems like a dark son of a bitch. She knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I'm definitely familiar with Ryan Murphy, and definitely familiar with Ed Gein.
Oh, you knew him? Did he serve you a human meat burger?
Oh yes, very, very much so.
Might not have been born before he died.
Yeah, no. He actually died before I was even born. So
right. Maybe his son served human meat burgers. He did live though to the 80s though. Check this out. 84. It's weird who interviewed the guy, right? And if I may, sir, another character amongst all these kind of true crime serial killers, as you were saying, you know, telling these tales of like Ryan Murphy's doing the, you know, specific tales, Dahmer, et cetera, et cetera. We got that character. Damn it, I done lost his. Okay, it'll get back to me here in a second. Go ahead, sir. I've done lost. I'm stuck in Muppet World. He's involved in all that the new Netflix stuff though as well, around right. Tom O'Neill and Danny Casalero's project. It'll come back. The octopus, yeah. So it is interesting always who tells us these tales there, right? And that is the guy who was do you know what I'm talking about, Julie? Who interviewed Ed Gein in prison there in them tapes, like, you know, late 70s maybe? The filmmaker.
I'm not sure actually, but they got it. They put something kind of like that in the Netflix show, but it was actually not true at all, which I'll get into later. But
am I jumping the gun here?
No, you're not jumping the gun. It's just yeah. They didn't put it in right in the show. They like conflated some shit, but
classic tale of not putting it in right.
Right. Yeah.
Is that a subtle B-hole reference?
Yeah, no kidding, right? Well, so they say Ed Gein, he collected body parts. He had like a nipple belt and like a human face mask, and he had human hand gloves. He ate out of skulls, like he ate his fucking cereal out of fucking skulls and shit.
2 bodysuits.
Right, he had bodysuits. He had like dehydrated vulvas in like a keepsake box, and he would just dress up in his mom's fucking underwear and put dried out vulva on his penis and wear it around. And he was a sick son of a bitch, allegedly, right? But it doesn't mean you can be a sick son of a bitch and still not actually have murdered anybody.
There you go. Yeah, you can be a sick son of a bitch for sure. I'm totally right there with you, ma'am. And he could be part of a larger network and fall guy, which is often the pattern of behavior I see around all of these high-profile, quote-unquote, satanic murders, homicides, ritual sacrifices, serial killers. Is there's a larger network of folks surrounding a quote-unquote fall guy that seems to take the rap for everything.
Well, he seems to be simple-minded, a lot like Henry Lee Lucas. And so I have seen with Henry Lee Lucas, like how they do this playbook of, sure, let Henry take the fall for all this shit. Doesn't mean he did it though. So Ed Gein is, well, he might have killed his mom or whatever they say. He killed like his mom and his girlfriend, but he didn't fucking kill thousands like they said. Like,
right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. Well, again, it goes back to the evidence. You can dance Henry Lee Lucas around America and have him claim 600 some odd murders, or you could provide some evidence he's connected to any of it.
Right.
Show me he was even in the town when it occurred. Show me he's in proximity to such a situation.
That's what I'm saying, though, is like with Ed Gein, sure, he's a sick, depraved individual. Right. Yes, he was grave robbing. Yeah, he had a weird crush on his mom. But did he actually murder anybody?
Who knows? He probably fucked a lot of corpses. That doesn't mean he murdered anybody, right?
Right. That's what I'm saying is like, okay, yeah, he's into some sick, fucking weird, fucking necro shit. But I don't know if that means he actually, like they say he killed his brother even. In my okay, and this is speaking, not the rest of the panel, but I think his mom was involved in this satanic cult, right? Generational Satanism. And they say he killed his brother. His brother could have died, as a result of some cultist bullshit. But there's no evidence of him actually murdering anybody. I think he was like the finisher guy, a lot like they.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I hadn't considered that. He's Winston the Wolf.
So what's really interesting, if you go back and read through some of the newspapers at the time, or you go back and read through, the Central State Hospital documents, or anything like this. Anytime Ed is actually asked about the murders, he says that he can't remember any of them.
That's right, Jacob.
Yeah,
100.
And, allegedly, he only killed 2 people. But he was caught with all these body parts. So, I mean, at the very least, he was at least guilty of grave robbing. At least in my opinion, he definitely was. However, the murder thing, I agree with Julia. I mean, there is no evidence directly, and this is long before DNA evidence, obviously. But they just assume you have a woman strung up like a deer, gutted in your garage, and you're the one guilty of it.
You look bad. You look bad when that happens.
It does look bad. It does look really bad. But
yeah, it makes you look like shit actually when you have somebody,
But who's to say someone didn't plant that? Who's to say someone didn't put the dead lady's body? I'm not saying her body wasn't there. I'm just saying who's to say that Ed Gein?
No, I mean
how we pronounce
it was there.
Gein,
I guess.
Gein. We call him Wisconsin cheese. You don't have a fancy nickname for him, Wisconsin cheese?
They called him like the Ghoul of Plainfield and stuff like this.
Yeah,
I'm notorious for coming up with my own monikers. Which give me a minute,
I'll
think of one.
Yeah, I really enjoy your nicknames for these characters.
Could be the dehydrated vulva killer, But so the thing about him too is
maybe we get an acronym in there, maybe.
Well, give me a minute. It'll come to me. It's like, when I'm not thinking of it, it'll happen, right? It's like magic. But
I think you hit on a good point. If we can start calm down. Chronologically speaking, regarding his mother being involved in some sort of generational activities.
Yeah. And I think, those bodies were actually at the house, right? That I think that they were actually there. But the thing is he could be like the weird finisher guy, like Gacy or something. They dropped bodies off at his house. They only got a confession out of him after they like knocked his fucking block off. The sheriff like beat him senseless.
The lead investigator beat the hell out of him, which was really interesting. I believe he's a victim of DID. He was programmed basically under like MK Ultra mind control programming. Which is why he can't remember doing it, because he actually wasn't the trigger man, although they weren't. Actually, I believe the one hardware store owner was shot, I believe. So yeah, he wasn't the trigger man is what I'm trying to say. And that's, in my opinion, why he can't remember the murders. And he's got these chunks of time missing, because that's a very standard side effect of programming, is not being able to remember these things.
100. I completely agree with that. And it's like he is simple-minded, JJ. Mm-hmm. It's like he's the Forrest Gump of fucking serial killers. And
he really is, because look at the impression he's left on our society at large and our media. Everyone's based on this character, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So
what's weird is everyone loved him too. Like he was like all the rage in the town. Like, I actually haven't seen the newest Ed Gein thing on Netflix, but they kind of portray him as like one where girls didn't like him, and the townspeople kind of thought he was like this recluse and an idiot. They might have, but I mean, from all accounts, everyone said that they loved him. I mean, he even babysat for people in the town.
It's the same as John Wayne Gacy. It's kind of weird.
Right? I get the Gacy impression all day. He's known as a jester. He would entertain the children with magic shows. I mean, that's very much the same kind of community-like character that Gacy had, or reputation.
Right. Which makes him perfect for a fall guy.
I think, and you know what else makes him a perfect fall guy is like he lives with his mom. It's like he's a gentle, gumpy, kind of like town folk.
He's super gumpy. He's
simple guy.
He's connected to everything here, right? As far as, again, and like what was known about serial killings, or just a very aggressive homicide prior to. I mean, I know there was some. I'm just saying this really redefined. Like, there was the Axeman of New Orleans, there was the Texarkana situations there in the late 40s. I'm just saying. There was incidents of massacres previous to this, but this redefined massacres. This guy.
Well, yeah, and his depravity kind of redefined depravity. When they bust into this guy's house, it's on a whole nother level. I mean, he chainsawed some bitch's whole, like, from tits to crotch.
I saw someone died just like that in Studio 666 the other day. I was watching.
I mean, there are pictures of this stuff. You should
I know,
pull
I've
some
seen
of the
it.
crime.
Yeah, no,
you should pull those up.
No, we don't need MK Ultra folks, do we?
Do it. The crime scene, the real crime scene foot. Because I'm telling you guys, like the human face masks and the hand gloves and the skull bowls and all this stuff, right?
Yep.
It's unprecedented. But
that's what they do. It was incredibly odd for the time. Although, I mean, there were many serial. There were many.
This would be incredibly odd today, right?
Yeah. I mean,
maybe not for Portland.
Right. That's true. Maybe not for Portland.
I mean, there were many serial killers before then. The one that always comes to mind, late 1800s, is Belle Gunness. She was a woman, which is odd enough for a serial killer of any time.
Allegedly.
But she, allegedly. But she would lure traveling men into her into her farmhouse, you know, offer them room and board, you know, a hot meal or whatever, and she would do away with them H.H. Holmes style, and they were just never seen from again.
Yeah,
And
let's talk about H.H. Holmes was a fucking psychopath too.
right.
I mean, don't all of these like reek of occultism to you though? Like, think about this.
They do.
Jack the Ripper, right? There's a lot of occult shit going on with Jack the Ripper. There's even stories that somehow like Helena Blavatsky and like Aleister Crowley were somehow involved with Jack the Ripper. And then you have like the torso murderer, the whoever hacked the fucking tits off the Black Dahlia.
Whoa,
You know,
say that.
this is all, you know, this is all before Ed Gein, though. So I agree with Jacob.
That's what I'm saying.
It's not
It
like
redefined the
serial
game,
killing
right?
was new, but he did some depraved ass shit that made a name for himself.
Yeah, it's kind of like Columbine to school shootings. You know, there were school shootings before Columbine, but Columbine was the thing that put it on the map for everyone. And same thing with Ed Gein.
Yeah.
Because like even with the,
there was Mississippi, dude. There was Jonesboro, Arkansas. I can name a few of them school shootings.
But like with Ed Gein, you know, like let's just take for example Jack the Ripper. Okay, what'd he do? He stabbed a couple bitches, you know, molested them a little bit, did some raping on them.
Prostitutes are people, Julia. Prostitutes are people.
Whatever. He
Prostitute
wasn't
lives
wearing.
Yeah, prostitute lives matter.
I just, you know, the depravity comes in where it's like, yeah, Jack the Ripper, he was slicing and dicing some hoes, but he wasn't wearing their faces around. Okay, this is like some new shit.
What's interesting though, the reason I think this is actually because of the aftermath, because at the time when they were pulling all the stuff out of his house, there was like a literal circus outside. Like people were scooping up dirt and selling it. Like there was a whole like economy built around the house, which is why the house actually ended up mysteriously burning down, because the town folk didn't want the house to be, you know, some murder tour or whatever. And I kind of agree with them. Like if it wouldn't have burned down, it would have. Like it would have turned into a horror museum. Right.
Yeah, a museum.
Yeah, but here's the deal. Once the house is gone, in 1958, the law enforcement destroyed all the other evidence as well. So therefore, you know, he's not going to appeal. He's in a loony bin, right?
Some of it actually is still in museums all over the country. You can find pieces, although any of the body parts and, you know, the nipple belt and stuff like that is long gone for sure.
No, I'm tracking, sir. I apologize. Let me readdress my statement and actually be a segue into our next portion of this conversation. So I appreciate that. The evidence they had, the physical evidence against Gein, and which basically consisted of like a receipt from the hardware store, right?
Right.
They said, poof, that went the way of Houdini in 1958. No more.
Right.
What was it? So what was the story on that? So I guess we can do his backstory here. You all tell me, you want to do backstory or do you want to do evidence? Which one you go? Which one first? Julia?
We can look at his mother real quick.
Yeah, I was gonna say we should probably start with his fucking mom.
Right.
I'll leave it up to you, ma'am. You're the gynecologist. You're the expert on that guy.
You might as well start with his mom.
Oh my God. See,
that's a great one.
Didn't see that one coming, did you? You should have seen that one coming. You should have seen
that. Oh my God. Nice. You got me. Maybe that should be his moniker. Ed Gein.
Oh, there you go. There you go. There you go. I like it.
You know, I'll let BT go if he's got some stuff on the mom because I don't want to.
I don't. I've never heard of this guy until JJ said something pre-show with me.
Well, maybe Jacob can jump in. But yeah, he had a weird crush on his mom. You know, he would wear her fucking bras and stuff around. She was like the mom from Carrie. Okay.
Yeah.
But like the real life version of that person. You know,
it was a straight up Oedipus complex, like through and through.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's like, you know, he loved her as, you know, you would love your mother, but it went beyond that because it was like, she didn't want him to get married. She didn't want him to have sex. She didn't want him to have children. It was kind of just like stay with me forever kind of thing.
She literally was the mother from Psycho.
Mhm.
Right.
she was,
That's right. They sounds like they nailed it, right?
yeah, she was incredibly domineering, and she was an incredibly religious woman that came from an abusive home. Her father was incredibly abusive. I actually don't know too much about like her upbringing, but basically she parlayed that into abuse on the family, because hurt people. Yeah. And Ed's father was not so much abusive necessarily, although there are accounts of him abusing, mainly like emotional and verbally, but he was a drinker. He was a hardcore drinker, and his mom resented his dad because of that. Eventually, Ed's dad left, and then so she went full like feminist man hating, right?
Right.
And then she also was all about woman hating as well. Every single woman is a tool of the devil, and
Yikes,
all
dude.
women are harlots and everything, and just basically created a recluse that lived at home, and there was no other woman that was good for Ed other than his mother. And
I have one question for y'all. One question on this lady. She sounds like a real treat.
Oh, wait. Was she a great big fat person?
Oh, wait. Well, I mean, was she a great big fat person? She sounds like a great big fat person.
No,
she was a skinny little spinster lady.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
She looked like a fucking brown recluse, if a brown recluse could be a person. Like, she was just like so venomous looking, like a crushed out Camel cigarette, but like as a person.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Nice
dried up
nice
apple face.
weathered face, looking like an old catcher's mitt.
So you get it. You
sounds
get
real,
exactly
sounds
what
real
I'm,
sexy.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, think of it in this way, is like whatever they had going on caused him to have this weird thing where he liked to choke his chicken while wearing her undergarments, and like that's got to be some sick shit, right? It's like your mom's bra and panties, and like that's why I say it has to be some kind of generational Satanism going on here, because obviously the mom was abused, right? Then she abuses her kids, then she Ed Gein does his thing. I don't think he murdered anybody, but I do think he was into some weird sexual depravity shit. I do think he was like a weird fall guy, maybe a finisher guy.
If you want to bring up that tab I pulled up, JJ, it's actually a picture of her. Her name is Augusta Gein.
Augusta.
Yep.
Like just the name.
Right. Oh, my bad.
This woman.
Oh, there it is.
This woman. This was allegedly taken around 1940, so this would have been not too long before she died. And you can just look in her eyes. I mean, she's got those psycho eyes.
Literally.
Yeah. But which one am I supposed to be looking at?
She looks handsome. That's all I can say.
A very handsome woman, and
very broad faced, broad shouldered looking broad. You sure she wasn't a great big fat woman?
She was a linebacker. No. And this is a picture of what it was like around his house. They had booths set up. It was a literal circus around his house after the crimes hit the media. And so I think the media aspect of this is also another reason why we're still talking about him today in 2025. I was going to say that's media sensation.
Yes, sir. I'm glad you said that. So I appreciate you using your brain hole, sir, there for God's intended purposes, and not for what many folks do in this world as an oversized paperweight, because that's what I'm saying. Not only does this change the game as far as this massacre of the scene goes, it's the media circus. We can see it. If you look at all the events preceding and after, this is the point in time where this media circus, really the inception point of this murder media circus goes.
Yeah. And this was the first, serial killer or like mass murderer or whatever that really was covered like this. Of course, Jack the Ripper was, but that wasn't international news. Ed Gein actually made international news.
Interesting.
And we get Ed Kemper later with a lot of publicity too, right?
Well, they mentioned Ed Kemper in this new Netflix show as being inspired by Ed Gein.
Same with Ted
Bundy. Mentioned. Oh, go ahead, sir.
Just they mentioned everybody. They have a weird like scene that's been kind of floating around the social media that kind of shows Ed having like this delusion or something where all of these serial killers, Charles Manson and Ted Bundy and Ed Kemper, and like all of these guys come out to thank Ed because he's like the godfather, and it's supposed to be like a delusion that Ed is in, or like a dream or something like that. And it's really, really strange.
Because, when you have somebody who is capable, quote unquote, capable of doing these kind of things, they have to give them like some kind of weird psychological disorder. So they were like, oh, well, he was schizophrenic. It's like, dude, there are a lot of schizophrenic people out there that don't cut dead people's nipples off and string them up in a belt. Like,
let's hope they don't all start doing that, right? Like some fucking zombie apocalypse.
That's what I'm saying.
So it is interesting how we get even as you're all pointing out, the constant references and comparisons to these other serial killers, because as Julia, you mentioned earlier, I think maybe perhaps before the show, that Ed Gein is even referenced in Program to Kill in this whole matters of the Satanic Serial Killers Come Home, a Phoenix program, and Muppet Mikey Aquino and gang. And we see them almost every time you see any of these characters referenced, it's almost like they're referenced in like a Marvel Universe capacity. They're like the fucking Avengers, a fucking Suicide Squad, or whatever you want to call it, of a super team of fucking killers, right? And even in films like American Psycho, which there's a lot to be said about old Bret Easton Ellis, I think, but the and Ryan Murphy, I believe he incorporated smiley face killer stuff in American Horror Story. Bret Easton Ellis did the smiley face killer film. So that's fucking creepy, but
yeah.
American Psycho. Go ahead, sir.
I was just going to say real quick, in the first season of American Horror Story, which is aptly dubbed Murder House, I mean, he references all sorts of things, the Black Dahlia, Columbine, like he just goes on and mentions all sorts of, sure does. That's one of the main characters in the first season. He's a school shooter that doesn't remember that he was a school shooter until later on.
Oh, that's
dude, the first season of American Horror Story is chocked full of conspiracy shit.
Oh yeah, and occult stuff through and through.
Yeah, and there's another season called Cult, and it's got all this like Trump stuff and Hillary Clinton stuff, and it's just crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. Ryan Murphy is
speaking of Hillary Clinton stuff, I had a question for you, ma'am. Hillary Clinton successfully traded. She profited hundreds of thousands of dollars in trading cattle futures while in labor, giving birth to Chelsea Clinton. Were you successful in doing anything of that nature?
All I can remember is my tank getting busted wide open. So it's just not.
There's another butthole reference for the evening. Fuck the webs. Isn't it preposterous that Hillary Clinton claims to have been like laying in her bed, giving labor, trading cattle futures on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange?
I mean, unless she got some kind of epidural that just like totally cut off all the feeling from the waist down. I mean, I just don't. If you're in active labor, the last thing you're thinking of is literally anything other than when does this stop?
Right.
Like,
thank you, ma'am. But yet we're sold these very preposterous narratives of this nature. And again, I look at all media and the way we're in the media circuses, especially as the other JJ was pointing out. Watch out, sir! I see what you're doing there, trying to out JJ me here. I won't have any. But I take all these things, very, very circumspect about these narratives, because once again, I'm sure we'll get into it eventually here, but generally speaking, the evidence around this whole Gein affair seems very, very suspect. But when we keep seeing the media and how they portray them and connect them over and over again, even in our fictional medias, when this quote from American Psycho, he's talking about, it's an Ed Kemper quote, but he references it as Ed Gein.
Make up for how fucking unattractive they are.
Do you know what Ed Gein said about women?
Ed Gein, maitre d' canal bar?
No, serial killer, Wisconsin in the 50s.
And what did Ed say?
He said, when I see a pretty girl walking down the street, I think two things. One part of me wants to take her out and talk to her, be real nice and sweet and treat her right.
And what the other part of him think?
What her head would look like on a stick.
Which is an actual quote you folks can see from Ed Kemper.
Right.
Dude. That's the thing though, is like they say, like Ed Kemper, who's also mentioned in Program to Kill. I talked about actually in a episode recently. But it's like they apparently drew inspiration from Ed Gein. Now, here's my thing. He's technically not even a serial killer, right? Because he only allegedly killed 2 people, right? You have to kill 3.
It has to be 3 with cooling off periods in between both.
Right.
Or in between all of them, you have to have a cooling off period.
So Dave McGowan, and I'm sure people are sick to death of me bringing this up, but in Program to Kill.
Go ahead, man. He was right. Dave McGowan was right.
Yeah, he was right. Yeah. And so he mentions how there have been satanic cults ripping and running through Wisconsin in this area.
Ripping and running. I forgot about that reference. Thank you, man.
Yeah. I mean, he talks about this, you know, in Program to Kill, how this area of Wisconsin is silly with satanic cult activity. You know, is it a coincidence?
You don't say. You don't say.
I mean, Ed Gein
look at all this stuff in that proximity, right? Milwaukee, you know, near Milwaukee,
Chicago,
right?
Chicago. Yeah. What's his name? Cities. La Crosse. That's where he's from. That's a hotbed of smiley face killer activity.
Yeah. Well, same with Ohio.
Ohio.
Yeah, Ohio has some of the actually last time I looked has the highest population of Satanists per capita out of any state in the union. So
isn't that wild?
Some say that's Wisconsin, but some say it's witches' covens. I do agree both are high volumes per capita, sir. So that's a great point. And you know, my assertion is because of the mounds. So the highest concentration of Adena mounds are in Ohio, and the highest concentration of the effigy mounds, the animal effigy mounds, are in Wisconsin.
Fuck.
It's got to be just a coincidence.
This is the world. The highest volume of these mounds in the entire world. And this isn't just America. This is the highest volume in the world. And now the largest effigy mound in the world is, they call it, well, the dum-dums call it serpent mound. I assert it's sperm and egg mound, but it's a bit of a different color, sir. But it's all sex shit, and we don't see a lot of sex shit with Ed specifically, right, in his crimes. But you know, outside of this whole autogynephilia business, did they name that syndrome after him, autogynephilia? Ed Gein?
They said that he had
dressing up like a lady, right? Now that is
right.
Yeah, they said that he had. He was a gynophiliac.
Why else would you dress up like a lady? But
right,
gynophiliac.
Well, he would.
Are all of these named after him? Is this what's happening right now?
I don't know.
Am I just learning all of this is named after Ed Gein?
They said that he had that shit because he would like wear their titties around and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, he had a full woman's suit though too. I mean, it was
right.
Yeah.
I mean, that was really weird because I mean, he's dressing up as a woman after his mom's gone.
Where
I was looking at
he's
John
pretending
Wayne,
to be his mom.
His mom
too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jane Wayne Gacy had the same kind of. He would replace his mother and be the wife of his father. It was really weird.
Sick fucking shit is what I'm hearing.
If you want to bring
whose
up
skin was he wearing? I'm gonna need a name, folks. Whose skin was he wearing in this lady's skin?
So allegedly, the skin came from some of the graves, some of the graves that he robbed.
It was a hodgepodge of sorts.
It wasn't just one person. I thought maybe it's just like one great big fat lady.
Oh wait, was she a great big fat person?
Oh wait,
it was lotion on their skin though, and he would.
Oh shit! Yeah, yeah. You got to put the lotion on the skin.
Yeah, but so like it was a hodgepodge. He would take one and be like, I like this one's tits, I like this one's hands, I like this one's puss, and then he would sew them all together and make like a human suit out of it.
Right.
Well, he's creative at least, right?
Yeah.
So this is actually this is a excerpt from some of the initial medical documents from Dr. Sherbert, I believe is how you pronounce that. So this is December 12th, 1957. It says the patient was interviewed on this date. Underlined, it says he again denied any knowledge about the death of Mrs. Hogan and stated that he had admitted this crime because this is what the investigators wished him to do, which is really,
That's
right
what I'm
there.
talking about.
Right. So it was impossible to obtain a chronological series of events with regard to the death of Mrs. Warden, the first person he allegedly killed. He specifically denied remembering the evisceration of the body. He stated that he had violated 9 graves, and when questioned as to his reasons for doing this, he stated that he thought it was because he wanted a remembrance of his mother. And then highlighted, it says he denied any sexual relations with any of these bodies and gave as his reason for this that they smelled too bad. He again admitted that for a period of time after his mother's death, he felt that he could arouse the dead by an act of willpower. He claimed to have tried to arouse his dead mother by an act of willpower and was disappointed when he was unsuccessful. He also admitted that he had attempted this sort of thing with, and it just goes on to
Spiritism.
Talk about, right, which
sounds like we're talking some necromancy, sir. As a former
I'm
Mormon,
talking
Yes,
to
sir.
you guys about that's the satanic cult shit that I think his mother was a part of. That I think
where
Jeffrey
would he have
Dahmer
learned
was a
this?
part of.
There you
Like,
go.
where did he learn this shit from?
If it wasn't
Give me
for
a
his
name.
mother,
Yeah, where do you learn it from? Give me a name.
right?
No, I'm just
Well,
joking. That's a
and
great
so-
point. Now, again, it seems to be a larger situation going on here with his background of his mother, then, right?
Yes.
So in the Netflix show, there's a character, her name is Adeline. They kind of conflated who this woman is in his life. They said, that they were in a romantic relationship, that they were engaged at some
Years,
point.
allegedly, right?
What was that?
For 20, like they were saying, like for decades. Like I went
She
back and found
said
the article.
20 years.
Yeah.
She said they were.
Initially,
what a
she said
media
that.
circus, right? Like what a media circus. She sent this girl out. Because she did a report in the Minneapolis paper, like contemporary to the event. So like
Right.
that's a distraction of anything. Like, does she even know this guy? Like, do they even know each other?
So it's interesting. And the very first interview she did, she said, years and years and years, right? I can't remember the exact amount of years, and then ever since the very first interview she did, every interview after that, she said 6 months. That was it. So one interview, she said years and years and years. Right. And then after,
she's part of the cult, dude. She is definitely part of the fucking cult.
I like where your brain hole's at, ma'am. I like where you're going with this.
Why would she tell the truth in the first interview? Then all of a sudden, thank you, Ryan. Why go from 20 years to 6 months? That's quite a fucking leap there in a discrepancy of time spent with someone.
Right.
It's a nice twist in the plot line though. It keeps folks guessing.
And so, Jacob, you probably know this, but they did beat literally a confession out of him.
Yes.
And then the next day, that lead investigator who was knocking his block off trying to get this confession, he randomly dies of a heart attack.
Right.
No, it's mere coincidence.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it's always
Did he
a
have 2
coincidence.
gunshots to the back of the head hanging from a tree with a gun like 40 yards apart too? Like it's one of those situations.
Right.
Tie yourself to a tree and shoot yourself with a shotgun,
Yep.
Yeah. Total coincidence.
So
he's the Harry Houdini of suicide guys, right?
Yeah, he basically knocks, Ed's block off trying to get this confession out of him. Then he mysteriously dies of a heart attack the next day.
Right.
We have
he beat the hell out of him.
Right. Yeah. It's like, why is his girlfriend saying we spent 20 years together? Just kidding. It was more like 6 months. In the show, it actually depicts her kind of like guiding him towards necromancy and like some weird necrophilia stuff. Whether or not that part is true, we'll never know. But imagine how bad a dead fucking rotted fucking nasty ass puss has to smell for this guy, the gynecologist.
How about that beehole? That couldn't have been any better, right?
Right.
Right. Yeah. Look at this Plainfield woman, nearly wedded. Oh my God, is that what she looked like?
I'm getting bombarded with the ads. Fuck you, Jeff Bezos. I don't think it has anything to do with it, but he might. Who knows? Him or Bill Gates, one of the two. They're responsible for everything.
Let's see. I got you.
He was after a handsome woman like his mom.
Look at this.
Let's be honest about the situation. Is that a lady, dude? What am I looking at here?
Right.
Let's see. Here's a little bit better of a photograph. If you want to pull that up.
Yeah, this isn't a great image. It comes in a little. I don't know who scanned this, but I think they did. I don't know what's going on here. It looks a little fuzzy, doesn't it?
Homely.
A little bit.
It looks
homely.
Looks like somebody you'd find in
very
like
homely.
a mental
Very much
institution.
like I don't know what I'm looking at, dude. Is that a real person? Is this a real person? Hasn't I met her?
I don't know how much of this is totally fictitious. I mean,
Right, dude?
We'll never know.
Right.
Well, because they spend this whole narrative. I'm not trying to defend that guy in here. He's a creepy son of a bitch. He's obviously doing some weird shit. But I'm just saying he never had a chance to defend himself filing the appeals. He's in a loony bin. They burn all the evidence. I'm just saying I often concern my matters with my life and concern. Wait a second. Let me rewind. Holy smokes. I feel like I might still be lost in. I feel like I've been lost in Muppet World all week. Hold on, folks.
So how are all of those little wave ripples? How are those so perfectly matching what's in the video?
Because all dispersal
and the
patterns,
dots.
all dispersal patterns look the same. This is like saying that my butthole is your butthole because they're similar, right? It's not. We don't have the same butthole because of that.
You're using butthole out of context. You're talking about buttholes making everyone feel weird.
And that's the point.
Using that term butthole is making folks all feel all weird here, Julia.
I couldn't have said it any better.
I was saying I have to concern myself with matters of liberty, just like these two gents do, and I'm not unlike yourself, ma'am, as far as getting to the facts. There is no getting to the facts. They're just like, Ed Gein did it. We found all the shit in his house, lock him up, throw away the key, and burn it.
Well, okay. How about this? I have this in my notes and I wanted to talk to you guys about it. Wisconsin, right?
Yep.
Satanic cults ripping and running through this area.
Ripping and running.
Let's look at some similarities between Jeffrey Dahmer and Ed Gein. Okay,
real quick,
just like Dahmer. Someone has
real
just said
quick,
that.
right before we do that, this is something I think you all will find very interesting, JJ. If you want to pull up what I have.
Oh yeah, I see that. Yep.
Ed Gein buried at 3 a.m. What are the fucking odds of that?
Right, witch's hour, man.
Right, exactly.
He died at 77 as well.
Yep,
maybe
77.
Maybe he's a Matchbox 20 fan. He's the deep cut from the 90s.
Oh, yeah, it was a deep cut.
I've been doing deep cuts from the 90s to my son. I've been torturing with dad jokes like that. I do apologize. Go ahead, man.
We're talking about satanic cults here, right? Buried at 3 a.m. He was 77 years old, like Aleister Crowley, 77 shit, right? He spent 27 years in the mental hospital.
Yes.
Are these numbers not totally sticking out to you as sus as fuck?
Oh yeah. All of them.
All of them. Yeah.
And if I may be honest, there really is no difference between, and this may offend some folks, witches, covens, and satanic cults. This is the same. These are terms used by the Satanists, and this former Satanist can correct me if I'm incorrect here, but based upon the statements of one Muppet Mikey Aquino and his dribble, it's just I've read so many of his books. It's absolute dribble. This guy just sat in that room smelling his own farts, probably using a typewriter because he's just a crusty old son of a bitch, writing these books. But and loving every minute of those farts. He's like, oh, that one's a good one. I try to imagine how he even wrote this. It's just bullshit. But they're always saying there's no difference between covens and witches. And, Lilith, his wife, was doing covens and he was doing, grottos. And they're all the same shit.
Right.
So 100. We see all this shit in Wisconsin where they want to, there's probably some folks, well, we're a satanic cult, we're a witches cult, well, go fuck yourselves. So there's probably a lot of this activity going on in Wisconsin. You know what I mean?
Go fuck yourself. Yeah. No kidding. I mean, so there is a chapter.
Over the years, though, right? It's probably just so entrenched. I apologize, man. I just wanted to finish my point real quick before I got lost it again. But so speaking of Dahmer, right? So we see these in the 50s, right? Dahmer's in the 70s and 80s. But I'm saying if this has been going on with all these cults in Wisconsin for so many years around these fucking mounds, then it's probably so entrenched in the hierarchy of authoritative structures there, right?
Well, sure. I mean, I think our nation was founded by satanic cults. I mean,
Whose
that's
nation? We talking about Canada?
you know what I'm talking about, JJ. You know what I'm talking about.
Well, we were founded by an ancient alien cargo cult. Yes, ma'am. They do in fact haunt the moon's pale beams. I've heard that in a song somewhere.
That's a good song.
Thank you. So, as a former Satanist, there, Jacob J, is there a great delineation between witches, covens, satanic activity, or is this commonly viewed as folks kind of just bounce between the two, and they're often referred to as the same?
I mean, you kind of hit the nail on the head there. They do kind of float in between each other. Of course, if you would talk to any of them, they would say, "Hey, whoa, no, there is no connection. We're just peaceful Wiccans." And it's like, well,
yeah, we don't even know each other.
Right. Ignore the fact that the person that, invented the modern Wiccan, was a student of Aleister Crowley, just steamroll over that. But
they all admit to, right? Buckland, Frost.
Right.
They talk about that. Mm-hmm.
Right. And so, I mean, the New Age movement is very clearly, thelemic, very clearly. I mean, they do kind of float in and out of the circles. This is, to tie it back to the West Memphis 3. This is why Damien Eccles kind of floats and said that he was Wiccan instead of saying he was a Satanist.
Yeah, there you go, sir. There you go. Right. And his girlfriend was a vampire, right? And we're all fucking, we all live in a fantasy world. We're all, be what you want to be, whatever.
Right. Right. So, I mean,
I'm
is
a werewolf.
Kind of, yeah, right. Typically, the werewolves are more intergrained with the Nazism.
You ain't kidding, sir. You ain't kidding. And that was Michael Aquino's precise purpose behind that.
Right.
The werewolf units.
Right.
To stay behind Nazi Operation Gladio fuckers.
Well,
we live in a muffled world.
Nicholas Schreck, runs Radio Werewolf.
There you go. Another one. Yep.
Right. And Xena LaVey, she's also involved in all of that.
You mean Taylor Swift's mom?
Yes,
right.
That one. Right. Which, by the way, when the first time I saw that, holy hell, was that spooky? Like, wow,
Dude,
it has to be her mom.
I mean, I often play a game. Who is your daddy and what does he do? But who is her mommy and what does she do? Because it's spread an image, bud.
Also, I'm pretty sure Taylor Swift is a man. I mean,
who was his mommy and what does she do then? How about that one? Does that work?
That's not the first time I've heard that, actually. That's pretty crazy. And I just wanted to say, somebody in the comments section said John Wilkes Booth was a part of that cult with Ben Franklin and Aquino. I just talked to a guest literally yesterday about John Wilkes Booth and how he faked his fucking death and ran away somewhere and all that. I mean, it's crazy, the connections.
Well, that makes sense. But what cult are you referencing here? Are they? Is this a time traveling cult? Because these men lived far apart from one another time wise.
Oh, I don't even know. I just saw that comment and I talked to a guest yesterday.
Oh,
who
I
was
see.
talking
Now
about,
I'm catching up, ma'am. Now I see the comment.
Yeah, right here. A cult with Ben Franklin and Aquino.
Uncle Ted, I'm interested. I'm not sure the reference. Is this is there a burger element to all this? Is that what you're telling me?
We'll see if he puts another comment in there.
Before I get us any further off topic regarding these matters, so it seems that perhaps Ed Gein might have been born into this situation. Was his mother's in her cult activity, was she involved in any sort of drug, sex, or rock and roll in this pre-thelemic kind of era of Satanism?
I don't know, because she was
pre-public era, at least, right? Pre-1966.
She made herself look like she was such a what do they call it? Like a devout, everyone, all women are harlots and all men are this.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with that. I mean, no disrespect to present company, but I don't necessarily disagree with that viewpoint. There's a lot of them out there.
Yeah, she
that guy's mom was onto something. She may have been an extremist viewpoint, but she was onto something.
Almost like she saw into the future and saw, the average woman nowadays.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, no shit
show out there.
But I did want to mention really quick before I forget. there's a chapter in Program to Kill. It's chapter 16. It's called the Collectors.
Yeah, I got
that. So these are the people who are mentioned, right? Leonard Lake, John Wayne Gacy, Bob Berdella, Gary Heidnik, Jeffrey Dahmer, Herb Baumeister, which is a really, if anybody's ever looked into that guy, it's fucking weird. And then the Godfather being Ed Gein.
Yeah. I'm bringing it up right now, ma'am. How about the you mentioned? I don't disagree about Baumeister. He's very interesting. But how about shit? You just said his name too. Say a name again. Give me a name.
Jeffrey Dahmer.
No, that wasn't it. Bob Bordello. The Kansas City Butcher. That's a very interesting case that overlaps with that BTK situation.
Well, see, they run in networks, right? And they are all part of the same satanic cults. Well,
they told me they didn't know each other.
Look at this shit, right? Let's look at the similarities between Dahmer and Gein, who are both based out of Wisconsin. Taxidermy, okay, collecting of body parts, using the body parts as household items, cannibalism, necrophilia, not admitting to all the victims. Jeffrey Dahmer also, he went down for like, I think 13, but only ever admitted to 11. They're both out of Wisconsin. But the thing is like, how many times are you going to run across two guys who are perpetrating almost identical fucking shit like this? Taxidermy, using the body parts as weird household items. Jeffrey Dahmer admitted to being into Satanism. They're both into necrophilia. And at some point, both Ed Gein and Jeffrey Dahmer offered their neighbors human meat as pork sandwiches.
Served up at Hardee's.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I'm not gonna lie to you, ma'am. You often come here with a lot of details, and I do guarantee folks this will be a barn burner. You're blowing up my brain hole, ma'am. So these matters you're describing is what I like to call the greatest common denominator. That is how I look at these kind of situations. And and it's that's why I've been describing my Satan Thursday shows of unpacking these things chronologically speaking, temporally speaking, time wise, and I've been mapping this shit out. And you see these pockets: Fall River, Massachusetts, Bridgewater Triangle. They can go fuck themselves up in that region. I hope they got locked up Buffalo Jared. No one knows where Buffalo Jared is right now. I'm just saying, I'm not. Maybe folks are safe. Maybe I'm the only one who needs to stay vigilant on those matters.
Oh, I'll stay vigilant.
He is a hypnotic, transpocalypse, mind-controlled, multi-state assassin.
Well, and have you ever noticed?
He wanted to be my PR rep, dude.
Have you ever noticed how these people, for some, God only knows how they're able to do this, but these people travel. They get around.
Yeah.
The Zizzy and Death Cults, they're traveling fucking carny sons of bitches, but stay vigilant about them. That Death Cult's still on the loose. That Silicon Valley based AI focused rationalist transpocalypse vegan death cult, they're on the loose. They're processing too, by the way.
So rational.
Stay vigilant for those folks, but also stay vigilant for lasers.
There's thousands of Americans out there. By the way, I've been shot with a laser beam twice.
Folks, they got Ted twice. Stay vigilant. So the go ahead, Julie. It looks like you got something on your mind.
Right. Well,
aside from laser attacks.
Other than the laser beehole, I mean, we talked about this with Scott Peterson, right? How they frame the husband, but the wife, and then they kill the wife, right? But they were probably both involved in the same cult, right? That's what we talked about before. So, like, it's the same thing here. So Ed Gein would go to his neighbor's house and be like, I shot this deer and I have too much meat. And I just thought you could, you might want some. And Jeffrey Dahmer is like knocking on his neighbors at the apartment. And it's like, I got this delicious pulled pork sandwich for you. Like, it's like they have to offer it to other people to like induct them into some kind of weird ritualism where they're like consuming human flesh, like the Book of Eli
I
type
think
shit.
I think what it is it's like some sort of like almost like a bingo card square, because they're in all of these cults, and so it's kind of a joke amongst these sick fucks where they're like, oh yeah, well I got my neighbor to eat, it's like
this black dude's ass.
In
the case of Jeffrey Dahmer,
right.
They invert everything. It's the inversion. It's the degradation aspects of everything, right? So they can deceive folks in the process. That's the fucking trifecta for them right there in my studies.
Well, think about this though, right? So it's like Ed Gein is like this gumpy, like everybody loves him, and he's like, you know, a sweetheart supposedly. But he's like kind of simple-minded. Like where is he actually getting these ideas to do this stuff? And then like several years later, Jeffrey Dahmer in the same state is perpetrating almost identical type shit. Like where are they getting these ideas of the
sure?
Well, and let's not forget Jeffrey Dahmer and John Wayne Gacy attended the same bar in Chicago many a times.
Well, it's also weird too, right? Like the day Jeffrey Dahmer is supposedly saved and baptized is the day John Wayne Gacy gets executed. Like there's all these weird, it's part of the ritualism, in my opinion, how they do things. And oh, by the way, it just so happened to be some weird solstice when Jeffrey Dahmer got baptized and John Wayne Gacy got executed on
normal.
such and such solstice.
Coincidence.
Yeah, right. Total coincidence. But I also think that John Wayne Gacy, and this is my opinion, obviously, and I could be totally wrong, but John Wayne Gacy could have also been kind of like a finisher guy. He liked to do stuff with the dead bodies, but I don't know if he necessarily killed all those people all those boys that were in his basement.
I don't think he did at all. And personally, I think he was more involved in the snuff aspect. Than anything, because the Stag film was so much a part of his story, and
that's his MO, dude.
Right, and so I don't think that he was necessarily this grand serial killer per se. I'm sure he killed people. That I'm sure of, but I don't think that was his thing. I think it was the snuff thing. He got these boys in there. And probably got them hooked up through Philip Paskey is my guess, because that's the tie to John David Norman. And that's what John David Norman was all about, right? And he ran the Odyssey Foundation and all of these other organizations from jail, mind you. He was able to do it while in jail. And somehow they didn't know.
Normal prisoners can do those things. That's fine.
Wasn't he the first pedo island guy?
So
John
he actually,
Norman, or
so
what was his name? David Norman.
It wasn't John David Norman, but John David Norman actually had ties to Francis Sheldon, who ran North Fox Island in Michigan. And that was like, you know, that era's Epstein. He was the one that ran the snuff films out of Michigan that was tied to it was another serial killer, some county up in Michigan. There was a bunch of child killings in the 80s. And that was all tied to
Oakland County child killers.
Yes, yes. Same thing.
It's not Oakland, California, sir. You are indeed correct. It is Michigan.
Right. So yeah, it is it's tied to all of these, and it's just so interesting that you have all of this, child sex trafficking, because even though they're teenagers, they're children, they're babies, right? You have all this child sex trafficking, and at the same time, these serial killers just pop up in the same circles. Like that's not a coincidence.
That's what I'm saying. See, Jacob is a man after my own heart, because I look into all of this stuff and it blows my mind how it's kept from the public, and it's portrayed in serial killer documentaries like it's one way, when really it's a huge network that connects all of these fuckers. And I think, my opinion, that Ryan Murphy has either read Program to Kill or he fucking knows about it, because he's putting a lot of pieces together. He's been putting pieces together since American Horror Story.
Or are they just bragging shit, right? Or are they just bragging about their friends? Because look who writes the book about all these matters of Psycho, who starts introducing these concepts of Guy into fiction for the first time. And he's friends. Oh, lo and behold, I don't know if he's an occultist, but he's friends with a bunch of occultists. I'll tell you that much.
With that H.P. Lovecraft too.
Right.
Well, he's also friends with Forrest J. Ackerman. Forrest J. Ackerman was OG member of the Agape Lodge with Jack Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard. He was the OG member of Scientology with his buddy L. Ron. And lo and behold, he was an OG member of the Church of Satan.
Probably in the process.
Fuck yeah, dude. He's a dark figure, I assure you.
So he has some sort of ties to intelligence then, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah.
Somewhere along the line, maybe even just for one time,
for sure.
he has intelligence ties somewhere.
Well, all those fellas are, dude, right? You know, all those sci-fi writers. So Forey Ackerman was like the godfather. He's the guy who coined the term science fiction. He's the guy. He was the editor and agent for all of these guys. He's also the guy who's in the first Superman comic, because Superman shit is, in my opinion, thelemic fan fiction. And on that note, before you go, Mr. BT Wallace, do you have any plugs?
Yeah.
I also have. I'm going to hold you hostage there, but do you have any plugs there before you go, sir?
Yeah, Truth and Shadow podcast. I'm everywhere you can find me. YouTube, even. I just do audio, so there's no awesome video like this. But those are my links, man.
Yes, sir. I'll put them in the show notes for folks at the interwebs. Check out. I highly recommend. Enjoy your podcast, sir. It's well produced, good. You know, produce some good thoughts in my old brain hole there. Thought-provoking thoughts,
That's
if you will.
what I do. Thanks,
it was
guys.
great to meet you.
You too.
Good,
Beach. I'll see you
good
next
seeing
time.
you, BT.
You too, Jacob.
BT, don't go nowhere, sir. You got to give me one more minute here, sir. Because here on Fridays, I like to play my favorite game. Who is your daddy, and what does he do? Who is his daddy, and what did he do?
Who the fuck was that?
That's
Jared Leto.
That's the Lord and Savior Jared Leto. You didn't see him looking like
I
Jesus
know
Christ?
Jared Leto. Who was the person at the end?
Oh, you saw that creepy son of a bitch? That's a drummer from 30 Seconds to Mars. That's his brother.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Oh, the
who that
old
last
guy at the
picture
end. No,
was.
the old guy at the end's allegedly his father. I'm not buying it, ma'am.
Oh, you're not buying. Well,
Not buying it, ma'am. Looks nothing like the guy. Let me bring up a picture for you in a non-comical format.
Let me see it again. I gotta fucking see
this
it
is.
again.
Do you see? I mean, I could see his mother in him, right? I could see a lot of Leto's mother in him here. Now, Carl Leto's is. Carl Leto. No, don't get confused. Don't get confused. He's a Bryant by biological name, surnames. Leto's his adopted stepfather.
Right.
He dies a very mysterious death himself, though.
Who is this now? Constance Metrijon.
That's his mother. Now I can see Jared. Yeah, it looks a lot. Come on, that looks like Jared Leto with a wig, right?
Right.
I mean, I thought it was Jared Leto.
What is going on here? I don't see any of this dude.
That's supposed to be his dad?
Yeah.
No.
Interesting.
No. Tony, come on.
Now,
Jared
this is his adopted dad. That's his adopted dad. They do recognize that is indeed his adopted dad, but this is supposed to be his biological
looks like an
father.
extra from Star Trek. Fuck.
Yeah, is that even a real guy, right? They're like, oh, this is Carl Leto. Come on, quit making people up, guys.
He's got a lot of Laurel Canyon connections.
He's got a lot of Laurel Canyon connections, ma'am. He also loves to play Marvel and DC characters. I mean, he's up to 5, I think, now.
Morbius.
Man,
Morbius, Joker.
The fact that he
did
bought...
he's got a couple more on he did Fight Club, for example. There's another one.
Right.
He's got 5 roles. Maybe not all DC Marvel, but he's got 5 roles. He's like, he's a very suspect character.
Right. Well, the fact that he's also like a highly successful musician and actor, is wild. Most people can't do both,
Right.
And he's having hangouts at somewhere in the Laurel Canyon
Lookout Mountain.
Yeah,
Lookout Mountain, right?
He doesn't own that anymore.
No, he sold it a couple of years ago,
yeah.
but he bought it when it was so he bought it from whoever was running it as a rehab center.
Right.
And then he turned it into a house. I actually watched an interview with some woman who used to clean it. And she said that there were parts of the house where they weren't allowed to go.
Yeah, he tried to do film studio stuff too, is what I heard.
Right.
Oh, fuck. And look at this shit.
What in Sam Houston he suspects going on here, ma'am?
Yeah, and what's with the weird triangle on this kid's shirt?
I'm glad you asked me. I got that up for you here right now. Hold on. Boom. That's the official Jared Leto logo. You didn't know that? Come on now.
Oh, fuck.
Is he going to change his name to the artist formerly known as Logo?
Hey,
Dude, if you want to talk about folks who wear other folks' skin as a human coat, I mean, Jared Leto's at the top of my list.
I would definitely put him up there. But I'm going to just tell you right now, I thought it was sus that he was even in Girl Interrupted, because that movie is all about MK. It's got Winona Ryder.
100%.
It's got Angelina Jolie. It's got all this Wizard of Oz symbolism in it. And who the fuck pops up?
And
Jared Leto. Oh, and it's got Brittany Murphy too. I mean, it's like
yeah,
fucking
yeah,
trifecta.
who would have thought the second coming already occurred? I mean, look at it.
Really. Yeah, they always have to tell us what they're doing, huh?
Exactly. You know,
Revelation of the method.
Exactly. He's like a Johnny Depp, though. He's like a pretty guy. You know, and they put him out there as like, oh, look at Jared Leto. He's like this.
Yeah, you know, that's a good point.
Super nice
he's
guy.
He's like Depp was way back in the 90s and stuff. You're right.
Yeah.
Except for he's an actual successful musician.
man, have you besmirched my spiritual guru, Jared Leto? Here on a Fridaze.
Hey, I'm not even judging.
So I actually met Jared Leto.
Seriously though, he seems like a major figure in some sort of modern day Hollywood occultism, right? And again,
yes,
you know, the way I look at it is these cult Muppets, these Hollywood cult Muppets, they do like little cult pockets across America. For example, his not necessarily his associate, but another fellow assumed Thelemite who plays a lot of, you know, or at least played the Flash in a lot of DC films, more than once played the same character at least, right? And that is Ezra Miller, and that dude literally started the cult in Vermont.
I know all about that guy.
I saw some commentary from some Vermontians. That's not a real thing. A fellow, Green Mountaineer, if you will. I'm not even sure. I think I made that up. But there was someone from Bennington, Vermont there in the chat earlier, and that's where Ezra Miller's cult is, down there by Bennington, Vermont.
He was also in they did like some kind of weird spin-off of Harry Potter. It's called Magical Creatures or something.
Fantastic
Potter, Harry's American cousin.
Fantastic Beasts. That's right. Yeah,
okay,
Ezra was in that too. So he's always popping up in like some weird occultism type shit.
Why am I just blanking on his Jared Leto? He was actually a regular at Ezelon or Ezelon, or whatever. Yeah, Eselon. What the hell is that highway? The 101 or whatever, like all the way up at the top of California. Yeah, he was a regular up there for a long time.
It's a beautiful drive. You ever get a chance to take it? Yeah, I've only ever made it from San Diego to the border of Oregon. They won't let me into that state. Maybe you all can take care of that for me there, BT and Julia.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm just joking. I always get deterred. I landed in Eureka, California, and I dare I say Eureka, I discovered the Great White beer. No, that's not the name of it. I discovered some beer at a local brewery there that changed my life for that weekend at least, and also prevented me from getting to Oregon. But the PCH is a beautiful drive.
You found a beer in Oregon?
No, it's the Lost Coast Brewing Company in Eureka, California. It's the Great White. It's like a Belgian ale. I haven't drank in years, but I discovered at that time I tried to make it to Oregon.
Yeah, it ain't no Rogue.
Eureka instead.
Go to the Rogue Brewery. It's some good stuff.
Well,
PCH it's a fantastic. I highly recommend it. You know, it's a beautiful stretch of America. Dare I say, California has some beautiful stretches of America. I love California, and it's not some of the people there.
It's a great state, terrible politics.
I was actually going to say a serial killer would agree with you, JJ. I mean, there's been bodies dumped up and down the coast for millennia.
Speaking of dumping things, the last few times I've been in California, all I have to do is step over human turds everywhere on the sidewalks. That's why I don't like California now.
San Francisco, I'm sorry. Hey, guys, I'm out. Have a good
Los
night.
Angeles, too, dude.
Late on.
In December of 2017, myself and
Yeah.
my dude Kevin and his son, little Kevin the little human is what we call him. My dude Kevin named all of his kids Kevin, including his daughter and his pets.
So funny.
Weird, dude. It's real weird. I don't judge. But me,
weird,
Kevin, the little human, we were all driving through Los Angeles. We were in there for a wedding in town, and there was we had to intervene a naked homeless man was literally assaulting they must have been in from Kansas. I don't know. These folks look lost. A young couple with 2 young children, and he's running down the street all naked and homeless. We had initially stopped because he was shitting on the sidewalk before the onslaught of assault on this young family that we had intervened upon. We just yelled, "Get away from your hobo!" And he just took off. He was just, they're hobos, it doesn't take much to deter them usually. But anyhow, that's Los Angeles for you. Saw a hobo shit on the street in West Hollywood, then nearly assault a young family. That'd have been fun to watch, right?
Well, this isn't a California story, but this one time I went with my family to Dallas to go to the JFK assassination, whatever the fuck.
Oh, that's the new California. That's the new California. Well, Dallas and Austin are the new California.
There's like a little place over there where you can go to some museum, and it's got like all this JFK stuff, and you can like go see like the road and the grassy knoll and all that stuff.
Assassination Museum, right?
Yeah, so
it's a little on the nose for a name, right? The 6th floor. It's literally on the 6th floor.
Yeah, 6th floor, museum. Right?
Get creative, fuckers, Muppets.
You wouldn't think this of Dallas, but we were just walking, my family, and there was a homeless guy, and he was just like begging for spare change or whatever the fuck he was begging for. I'm sorry, and my sister-in-law went to go reach in her purse. She was actually going to give this asshole some money or something, and he spit on her. And I was like, "See, that's what you don't want to go near them.
They're not a savory bunch, man. You don't want to go near. You want to stay about 10, 12 feet away from these type of characters. It's generally favorable, at least. Doesn't not catch hepatitis when they spit at you?
Shitting, spitting, whatever. She was gonna buy the guy fucking 6-inch Subway sub, and he just spit right in her face. So
well, that's what it was. Maybe if she offered a Whataburger, maybe there'd have been a different outcome.
I don't even like.
No, I don't go near the type. I treat them all like wild animals. I'm not trying to dehumanize them. I'm just saying, look, let's be honest about it. You're bound to get stabbed. I try to remove myself from any environment that I'm bound to get stabbed, and that's a very much an environment you're bound to get stabbed.
Shit or spit on. I mean,
well, there you go. I don't want any of that either. To be quite honest with you, I don't need any of that in my life.
I do want to say though, because I think I'm gonna have to go myself here in a minute, but the whole sensationalism behind serial killers, I do have to say, it's made people fear everything, right? Not just homeless people. It's made people lock their doors at night.
I seen it.
Yep.
It's it's really scary too.
If I may, ma'am, that's an excellent point you just made, because oftentimes we often describe things as, you two are just as guilty of this as myself. In broader terms, it's saying like Operation Gladio in our conspiracy culture podcast hosting. And, I've actually had folks ask me like, can you get this? Not, they're not saying they don't understand it. They're just like, can you get to some of the finer details, help folks understand these concepts more? But that's the concept right there. You nailed it. The impact of folks changing altering the way they live, right?
Yeah, it's total fear and domination, because there was even a serial killer. He was called the Vampire of Sacramento. His name was Richard
that's not
Chase.
A good name. Let's get him a new name.
Well,
he was a sick fuck.
He was a sick fuck, and he would, practice blood drinking. He was definitely mentioned in Program to Kill. He would do all this ritualistic stuff, but the
grind
way
up
that
organs and drink a smoothie.
Oh fuck yeah, it was disgusting. But the way that he chose his victims is he would try all the doors, and whoever didn't lock their door that night, that was the invitation to get murdered, I guess.
Yep.
So it's
go ahead.
I mean, it just has instilled fear into the hearts and the minds of the general public, and I think that's part of what the serial killer program is meant to do.
That was the whole point.
Yeah.
To quote our nation's finest law enforcement organization, the Federal Bureau of Investigations, those fucking Muppets. The former assistant director, Thomas Fuentes, said when he's making a budget for a law enforcement and intelligence agency, which was literally his job in 2004 when he made this statement. It's on YouTube. I'll find it in a second if you need to see it. I seen it. But he said when making a budget, he said he's not going to tell folks he solved crime and solved terrorism and whatnot. He says his mantra or his philosophy is keep fear alive. Keep it alive.
That's the point. That's the point.
Yep.
Even with this, right? Like Ed Gein's known as like the godfather of the serial killers, but he's not actually a serial killer, one, right? And we don't know that he even killed anybody.
To be quite honest with you. Yeah, there you go.
And it's like these networks are working in tandem to A, make you scared somebody's going to come get your kids. B, maybe they're just going to fucking cut your puss off and wear it around the house in their mom's underwear.
Maybe your beehole's going to be victimized, you know?
Well, that's the whole definitely on the table.
That's the whole point behind mind control.
It was literally on Ed Gein's table, was it not?
It sure was. It sure was. But yeah, that's the whole point behind mind control is fear. That's the easiest way for them to control the masses, which is why now we see, the rise in the school shooter and terrorism, specifically homegrown terrorism, which is being, continually. Yes, sir. And it's being carried over from, all of the militia fear in the 90s, anything to keep us in that perpetual state of fight or flight is the best way to control the masses, because then we're more suggestible. And also when they do these things, like the way they report them is they show the terrible things. And because that actually traumatizes us. So we all get trauma bonded together, like this most recent thing with Charlie Kirk.
Man, it's gonna be aggressive, bud.
Yes, the algorithm was allowed to let that video go wild, so everyone was traumatized, and that was done in a way so we would turn around, we would be fearful, we'd be traumatized, and then the masses would be more open to our saviors, the politicians that would come in and fix it, or the FBI or whatever.
They got to save us from the tyranny, sir. Are you saying they don't got to save us from the tyranny?
No. The federal basketball investigators are not going to do jack shit to save us.
Well, and think about this too, right? Think about being alive in the 1950s and seeing the crime scene photos that they pulled from Ed's house, right? Yep. It's the 1950s. You go to sleep with your door unlocked. You have a milkshake down at the fucking Back to the Future cafe. This is how I think of the 1950s, right?
Right.
But it's America. Like he had human face masks. He had human body suits. He had bowls and silverware made of skeletons. How do you think the general
here's my
public
question,
reacted?
Man. These are all excellent points, if I may. I'll go. I apologize. Go ahead. I was cutting out there. Go ahead. Finish, please. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. That's pretty much all I was going to say about that. Is like the reaction of the public. It had to be crazy.
Oh, again, it was a fucking circus. That's a great point. And again, I think we see the evolutions of these matters of the circuses starting there and how they evolve. But how many other people have human face masks, right? He ain't the only one.
Right.
You know what I mean? We're told about him. Everyone focus on him. It's all him. And no one asks the question, well, who else has got these face masks? Who else is doing this shit?
So,
I don't want to go too far off. Can you hold that thought for me, sir? I don't want to go too far off topic. And I do want to respond to Julie's tale about this fucking Muppet Museum in Dallas. But go ahead, sir. Please, your statement before we go any further.
Just real quick before we move off of this. So this is something I recently I wrote. I think I sent it to you, JJ, a piece I wrote about the mind control being used in the Charlie Kirk assassination stuff. And it's all about how the Charlie Kirk assassination video was pushed to traumatize the public for trauma-based mind control. And so the widespread dissemination of the graphic assassination video via social media algorithms fit into a deliberate strategy of trauma-based mind control. TBMC rooted.
Other JJ, if I may, sir, can we table that, because I think Julie's going to have to pop smoke, and then you're going to be resolving your matters here this evening. We'll be closing out on that. Can we go over that here in a moment? We'll give Julia some closing thoughts, and then we'll go over that if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you guys.
Hold that thought, Julia, because before you do that,
big day out there. Big one. We've got a full moon. People are going to be amped. All right? Let's see what we got on hot tips, all right? Whoa. The new bath mats are in. One more thing. We got a serial rapist in Crown Heights. Oh, geez, I'm sorry. That's from my other job. Ignore that. Forget that. Well, don't ignore it. If you live in Crown Heights, you know.
I found that Thomas Fuentes
way
clip,
to end it. That is a perfect way to
Watch
end
out for
it.
that serial rapist in Crown Heights.
Yeah, no shit. He's
So,
coming after
I
B-holes
appreciate
too.
your time, ma'am. I appreciate your B-hole comments. It's always good times here and your nicknames. Appreciate you coming back here to join us and get a little GCD here. I do. Would you believe it or not, I had stumbled myself upon this assassination museum you described, this Muppet Museum in Dallas, on December 14th, 2012. That date sounds familiar. That is the date of Sandy Hook business. I had already planned on going there that afternoon after some meetings that morning in Barksdale Air Force Base at the fake nuclear missile headquarters there. Well, it's a real headquarters, but the nuclear missiles are fake. I'm sitting there that morning watching that whole event unfold, and then I find myself at a different false flag kind of operations there, if you will, that afternoon. And I'm standing on the corner, and this fella says, "Hey, do you want a tour of Dealey Plaza?" I'm like, I guess. Who are you, weird hobo looking guy? And he says, because it's creepy. There's literally no one on the streets in that area of town at like 5 o'clock in the evening because the museum closes at 6. And there's no one around. And there's suddenly this dude on the street next to me. I'm like, all right, dude, let's take it down a notch. Who are you? What do you want? Because he looked like a hobo guy. I don't want to get spit on like your friend there.
They do spit.
It is that. Yeah, I mean, you watch out. And he's like, "Oh, I'm a security guard at the Muppet Museum." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." He's like, "I'm dropping off a Christmas gift to my buddy who's going on vacation there, his coworker." I'm like, "Oh, right on." He's like, "I used to give tours of Dealey Plaza." He's like, "I was 7 years old. I was standing right here when it occurred." I'm like, "Oh, fuck's sake, let's do this, bud." So I'll wait for you to go drop off that gift. And he gave me a full tour of the whole place, and it was an interesting experience. I learned a lot more about it than I previously had known that day, and from a dude who was there. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I still say shots came from the front. So whatever they got
Shots
to say
fired.
about shots from the front is all I have to say about that. Whether they can give you a tour of the window and like all
Speaking of Charlie Kirk, back and to the left.
Right. But yeah, I got mom duty calling me. I do appreciate you guys having me. I really appreciate it. I hope I was able to make it worth your while. I do think
as always,
that
man, a real barn burner.
Yeah. I mean, this stuff popping up in pop culture with these new shows, I think it's definitely worth talking about because it's
100%.
not as it appears to be.
Yeah, and they keep trying to reshape the narrative, right? They reframe these stories, sell us new tales, and whatnot.
Absolutely, yeah. But Cosmic Peach Podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, thank you so much, guys, for having me. And I'll actually probably finish listening to this episode tomorrow or whenever it's posted. So we'll see what you guys end up talking about.
Yes, ma'am. We're going to talk about some of this Charlie Kirk stuff. It sounds like in Jacob's the other JJ's recent, blog post on the matter. And I do. You will also hear that clip from Thomas Fuentes, or you can stick around for 29 seconds if you'd like to hear it now.
Sure.
Maybe.
If you're submitting budget proposals for a law enforcement agency, for an intelligence agency, you're not going to submit the proposal that we won the war on terror and everything's great, because the first thing's going to happen is your budget's going to be cut in half. It's my opposite of Jesse Jackson's Keep Hope Alive. This is keep fear alive. Keep it alive.
What a Muppet.
It's just,
what a Muppet.
They flat
Thank you, ma'am. I do appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us joining me to get a little GCD and the other JJ. You're leaving us with dueling JJs, so that's what we got going on here tonight.
Yeah, it was a real pleasure.
Great to meet you, and have fun, guys. See you next time.
All right, sir. Dueling JJs it is. Let's go.
So, I mean, this does kind of, of course, this blog post, I wrote it about the Charlie Kirk coverage, but it really does apply to almost everything, like the serial killer stuff we were talking about tonight, the school shootings, like all of this. What it is they're introducing mass trauma through graphic, unfiltered content. Like that's the whole point, right?
Yep.
And so specifically regarding the Charlie Kirk assassination, the video's raw depictions, blood, chaos, and Kirk's immediate collapse was optimized for platforms like TikTok, where short looping clips amplify emotional impact.
Do you have your? I don't have your website, sir. I can't find the bookmark I had for it. I've been lost in Muppet World.
No, you're totally good. You're totally good. So
I think our initial scheduling conflicts that began this week was due to my being lost in Muppet World. I sent you an invite. I sent Austin Way Picard an invite, and I failed to send your other associate Jose an invite. But that's on me, and those fellas join us in here in the future, possibly here for another one. I know Austin and I've already rescheduled for November 7th. You're welcome to join us, sir, on that if you'd like. I'd like to talk Nazis.
Of course. Oh, Nazis.
One of my other favorite subjects. Specifically.
Right. Yeah, I would love to be there. I'll talk to Austin about that and whatnot. So that would be great.
We're good to go on that, sir. Put it on your books. Come on down. But yeah, I was hoping to get a little necromancy, like I said, a little necromancy going on tonight. Us from the Mormons, being Operation GCD live, and you guys are already dead. So I figured that's a little bit of necromancy going on.
Right. So this is an excerpt.
Oh, damn, my microphone almost jumped off my table. Yes,
oh
sir, go
shit!
ahead.
Wrangle it.
Watch out.
So. Anyone who's curious, this is my my Substack that anyone can find. It's called Beware the Mockingbird. Operation Mockingbird. You got to beware that damn mockingbird because it is out there,
right,
and it
still exists, and it's probably even worse than it was. Can you imagine, dude? That's what I'm saying. The way these things metastasize, if you will, in our society, and if it's a few reporters like Dan Rather back. And to the left, Dan, he must have missed that one, right? Back in 1963, there's a few reporters. Well, what is that now amongst our social media times, or TikTokers, or YouTubes? All these matters.
Right, exactly, and that's kind of the problem because all of this stuff is just way more amplified. So, here in the blog post, here in the section, it's talking about the release of the video itself, because we all saw it, whether we wanted to or not. Like we all saw it, and we had no choice in the matter, and that was intentional. So right here, number 2, inducing mass trauma through graphic, unfiltered content. The video's raw description, blood, chaos, and Kirk's immediate collapse was optimized for platforms like TikTok, where short looping clips amplify emotional impact. This aligns with trauma-based mind control tactics. Sudden visceral trauma causes psychological disassociation where the mind checks out to cope, leaving individuals more open to subconscious programming. Conspiracy narratives frame this as a ritual sacrifice broadcast for imprinting. Flags, intel symbols, and preloaded family photos in coverage subliminally reinforce narratives of division. Example, left versus right. Mental health concerns surge post-release with reports of anxiety and desensitization, but the PSYOP's goal is deeper. Traumatized publics become fragmented, less likely to unite against systemic issues like donor influence or foreign meddling in Kirk's death. By making trauma viral, controllers test and normalize violence, eroding empathy and priming for future ops. So, I mean, granted, like I said, I wrote this about the Kirk coverage. However, it applies to all of it because it's the exact same tactics being used over and over.
Yeah, dude. I was about to say, I was rooting around my brain hole with those ideas you were just describing. And I'm like, yeah, dude, this is literally the same framework we see time and time again.
Right. And that's kind of why I wrote this too. I mean, it's the Kirk thing was because it's, it's in the front of everyone's mind and everyone's talking about it, but these are the same tactics to literally anything. So just real quick, the last little bit I thought would be important here is the strategy weaponizes social media as a weapon of mass psychological warfare, turning a single event into a tool for collective conditioning. If true, it's a test of how far trauma can be scaled digitally to enforce control without overt force. And this is the things that we've all got to be on the lookout for. So even if you don't watch mainstream media anymore, it doesn't matter.
Sir. We're being psyoped on psyoped here, bud. You definitely got to be on the lookout for psyops and lasers.
There's thousands of Americans out there. By the way, I've been shot with a laser beam twice.
Yes, sir.
Other JJ, they got Ted twice. Watch out. So he was a king of psyops. He loved psyoping motherfuckers, didn't he?
Right. He sure did. He sure did. And I mean, got shot twice. You know,
I mean, shit, dude. You know, I've been trying to get down to brass tacks of how that may have occurred. I might be onto something, but please continue, sir.
Well, that's kind of just it. You know, all of this stuff. You know, I do think serial killers probably would have like occurred naturally. I think there's like a lot of things that kind of lead to this, but it was
that's a good point, though. That's an
inflated.
interesting point. If I may, sir, real quick.
Yes,
they may have occurred naturally, but how do they perpetrate naturally, right?
Right.
know what I mean?
It was definitely so my personal opinion, kind of just building on the program to kill theory, I think they took something that was happening naturally, but in very low numbers.
We see that today. That's a great point, sir.
Right.
We see that today with this transpocalypse.
Exactly. So they're taking something that's kind of happening naturally through society, and then they amplify it by these tactics that they learned through MK Ultra and other similar programs.
And electronic controls and shit too, dude. Because again,
yes,
all this transpocalypse stuff has there's some element. I'm not a doctor, sir. I'm also not the vice president. I won't begin to understand these matters, but I will say that there's seems to be some sort of electronic warfare involved with it.
Right.
The video games is always Discord's always. I just get down to what are the greatest common denominators, if you will, and you know, there's always Discord. There's some very specific elements that seems to scream some sort of electronic warfare being involved.
Right.
Whether it's through the flicker rates or the patterns in the video games, I don't know these things. I'm not a doctor, sir.
Right. Well, and that's exactly what's happened. MK Ultra has gone digital. You know, they don't even have to pull you into a scary location to program you anymore. They just have to do it through your phone. You know, they target a specific type of person, and then that's it. Once they got their claws in you, boom.
Well, because some of them, that's a great point, sir. Because some of them experiments we're talking about in this MK Ultra and other broader programs similar to it, they did, in fact, when I say they, it might have been them folks that got Ted with them lasers, but they did, in fact, determine that they can. They got them, sir. I think I may have. I don't know if I mentioned this. I may have found the source. Before I finish my point, let me get to that.
One simple request, and that is to have sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads. Now,
notice how he said so multiple laser beams.
Yeah. They got them twice of them sharks, I think. But yeah, I think what we're looking at. I mean, I love shitting on Ted. It's great. It's one of my favorite pastimes here at Operation GCD. What was I saying? I got so much enjoyment out of shitting on Ted. What was I saying?
You were talking about the MK Ultra being digitalized and how they can target us without pulling us into these locations to program us.
Yeah, dude. Thank you, sir. Once again, while you were describing that, I got lost once again in Muppet World because I was trying to find this. Boom. Ted and his lasers.
Such a fucking Muppet.
so they're in those studies and experiments of these spooky natures. They did in fact looking at some of I looked at some of it, and what I could discern was they understood the flicker rates and all these other matters of light and the flicker rate of the light and the beaming of these messages, the ability to subvert the conscious natures of the brain with some of this imagery and the flicker rates and whatnot to subvert consciously. You can implant things subconsciously, and these were known knowns, if you will. I mean, when we're talking here at Operation GCD, sir, talking about psychopaths, I like to get myself in the brain hole with psychopaths.
As we know, there are known knowns. There are things we know. We also know there are known unknowns. That is to say, we know there are some things we do not know. But there are also unknown unknowns. The ones we don't know, we don't.
I love that.
Donnie
clip.
the Muppet. So the knowns we know about knowing is that they do know these things, and then we can see how these things are being applied in video games. It makes you wonder. Here's an unknown, sir. What the fuck was Jeffrey Epstein doing funding video games?
Right. Well, once again, the revelation of the method, as I'm going down these rabbit holes, become more and more apparent. And all you have to do is just look at the things that they call, these devices and everything. So tell a vision. It's telling a vision. They're channels because you're channeling something, and it's programming because you're being programmed, right?
There you go, sir.
Like these are not named coincidentally. My favorite quote from David McGowan: how many coincidences does it take to make a conspiracy? And they're all coincidences, and I don't believe in coincidence anymore. There is no coincidence, in my opinion. A genuine coincidence would be so mathematically astronomical that if they do happen, it would be so rare. I guarantee most people have never experienced a genuine coincidence.
Sir, I'm not a coincidence theorist. However,
me
they got Ted. They got Ted, sir. They got
at
Ted.
least twice. At least twice.
So, and here we see the epicenter of electronic warfare, psychological operations, and fucking Satanism with this fucking Muppet, with Colonel John Alexander and Michael Aquino, who his wife and these two Muppets, this lady and this lady, Lilith and John Alexander's wife, they claim to be sisters. I found no evidence of such, but this is the Skinwalker Ranch aviary psychological alien warfare nonsense. Hey, the aliens in Nevada like to eat strawberry ice cream. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. That's this guy.
I was not.
And these guys are like brothers, right? Like brother-in-laws, if you will, according to their wives. So therefore, we see the epicenter of Satanism, ancient alien cargo cult style, with the Temple of Set, if you will, there, and his full-blown U.S. Army alien business, Skinwalker Ranch, etc.
Right. I mean, it makes sense.
They all fucking know each other, sir.
Right. They're all intermarried. They're all related.
Yep. This is the intelligence officers banquet, October 2009.
Is he wearing a kilt?
He is wearing. Well, here's the deal, bud. He does in fact believe he is the Duke of Argyle, the rightful Duke of Argyle from Clan Campbell. He claims to be from. I haven't played a game yet with who is. We're not sure who his daddy is and what he does.
Right.
But according to him, he's a Clan Campbell.
I somehow doubt that. I somehow doubt it.
I mean, I doubt a lot of things about that guy. I'm going to need to see some level of evidence that he passed any sort of physical fitness exam ever, let alone a U.S. Army Special Forces exam. I assure you, sir, I've not done the U.S. Army Special Forces exam. I did, in fact, pass the U.S. Army Ranger test physical fitness situation.
Right.
And it's not easy. So that Muppet motherfucker, that puppy bastard didn't pass anything, sir.
Yeah, I can confidently say that as well. I'm sure he did not.
There's two things in this world I'm certain in. I'm certain there's no way, shape, or form he passed any physical fitness exam, let alone the U.S. Army Special Forces training. And I'm also quite certain that Ted Gunderson's full of shit. Now, he may or may not have been shot by lasers, but that's inconclusive.
Right.
There's thousands of Americans out there. By the way, I've been shot with a laser beam twice.
They got him twice, folks. Now, I imagine a scenario there in the intelligence officers banquet world there where Cirque of the Mid-Aughts, where Ted Gunderson is accompanied by his domestic partner, one Diane Hegarty, co-founder of the Church of Satan. That's the thing. And at that same time as that photograph of these other Muppets, and and they're just hanging out with John Alexander. Pardon me, sir. Oh, goodness gracious. What's going on right now? Oh, goodness. Pardon me. And John Alexander, Michael Aquino, they're all at a banquet wearing kilts together, dude.
Right.
Probably jamming things up each other's butts. I don't know.
I mean, that is a common thing that they usually talk about and has been levied against them. So if they're shoving things up each other's butts, I would not be surprised in the least. You know,
Ted
it does
Gunderson
happen.
made his entire career on investigating things and then try to tell the world, oh, I'll help with the Satanism stuff. He said, Satanism, we never heard about Satanism. Get the fuck out of here, Ted.
You know what's interesting about Ted too? Because I mean, my official opinion about Ted is that he was a genuine, like, A to B disinformation agent. So
yeah,
the
car
things
salesmen
that,
of all kinds, right?
Right. And so a lot of the things he said were true, but then there were just enough things that were wrong or factually inaccurate that led people astray, which is the whole point, right? A disinformation agent does have to spew truth, but just with a little bit of little bit of factual inaccuracy.
Yes,
And
sir.
so there's a lot of things, you know, especially about the Satanism stuff that is true. It's crazy. You can go through and a lot of it's true. And, you know, over the years, I've used his stuff for some of my research, you know, obviously with a grain of salt because, well, he's a disinformation agent, but there is a lot of truth in what he says. And it's kind of just interesting. Like, for instance, the archaeology report that the parents of McMartin got. He wasn't involved at all, but somehow he got word and just showed up that day. You know, it's just trying to put a lid back on that thing real quick.
He was the opposite of involved, sir. He shook out the whole man. Oh, go ahead. I'm cutting out over here. Go ahead, sir.
Well, you're totally right. He was just trying to shitcoat the whole thing. And, you know, by showing up is trying to discredit it actually. And it was incredibly interesting because, I mean, he actually failed other than the fact that people don't know about it.
Sir,
I mean,
he infiltrated a victim's mother's home, Jackie McGauley, violated the shit. I don't know what he's trying to do to her, but violated shit of her financially. For my sake, dude, I've been overtaken by the communists. My apologies.
Scum! Go back to where you're from. Get it together. Scum! Go back the hell out of here and go home. Scum! Pigs! Sorry I'm late. Who goes there? Henry Himmler. What Clavin claimed you? California Clavin, Cucamonga. California? Yeah, I was just passing through town and looking for something to do this evening. There was nothing going on at the Rotary Club. I heard about this. Well, welcome, Henry. I'm the Grand Kleagle. Oh. California thing. Pig! Face! Scum!
Teddy Gunderson's some pig face scum. So after Jackie McGauley hires the fucking archaeological team, her and 4 other parents, she from the McMartin victims, he takes other parents from the victims, because he'd infiltrated the scene through Jackie McGauley. So he meets all these other parents who were not part of the 4 parents that hired the team, but their children had been victimized. He takes those parents to the scene the day before the archaeological team shows up to start their dig, and they take them with shovels in the LA Times.
Right.
That's Ted Gunderson.
Man, it's so obvious. At least in my opinion, it is.
Well, in hindsight, right? I mean, at least to be fair, sir, it's in hindsight. We have the availability of time, information, and we're also not being currently shot at by lasers. It's a different time now. We have less lasers.
Right. Less lasers, and there's not one, definitely not 2.
Dude, luckily, I don't know about you, sir, but I maintained a couple pairs of my Mormon underwear. It does protect you against knife attacks, some nuclear weapons, and indeed lasers. So you're protected if you have.
I did not know that. Multiple laser attacks. Wow.
Well, I mean, it'll much like any kind of other armor, it's only going to sustain so much damage. You're going to have to replace it at some point, but you should be good with two attacks of lasers. Should be good.
It's amazing. Well, hey, I hate to cut it short, but I do got to.
No, I was about to say, are you my brain hole, sir? I know your name's JG, but are you my brain hole? I was about to say, I appreciate your time, sir. Let's bring it in for a landing. I know you got I know you got to go here. I appreciate your time.
Of
Thanks
course.
again for joining me, Gil, at GCD. And you're going to be back on Wednesday along with actually Cosmic Peach as well.
Yes. That's, you guys are getting your fill of JJ and JJ.
See, we got Jewel and JJ's again, dude, coming up Wednesday and next Fridays, if I'm not mistaken,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir. So I will be back. So
those
nights
indeed,
I'll be able to hang out as long as we need for those nights.
And this was your suggestion for this film, and the Cosmic Peach is also super stoked about it. And it's the love affair of Michael Myers and his sister.
Yes, which is incredibly weird. That's how the story starts. Michael Myers murders his sister and, kind of loses his mind from there. And then, becomes the shadow, the boogeyman. Every terrible story. Right. So, yes, thank you all. Thank you all for having me back and being so awesome in the chat and everything. I always love checking everything out. Also, I saw Bobo make a comment earlier that communists are not people, and he is right. They are
indeed not people. I missed the comment. I'm not sure who Bobo is, but I like the comment.
They are government property, not people.
They are indeed Muppets, sir. They're all Muppets. We live in a Muppet world. Speaking of that, Operation GCD Sundays here, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Times. 6 degrees of the processed church closed. They told me it closed in 1974, sir. First of all, we're in year 45 plus of a panic. I'm panicked.
Right.
You can hear more about that tomorrow night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Times, with the adventures and tales of this fucking Muppet, Mikey Aquino.
I'll make sure and be in the chat for that one.
Yes, sir. And of course, his pal, Laser Tag Ted.
There's thousands of Americans out there. By the way, I've been shot with a laser beam twice.
Watch your six, folks. Stay vigilant. We'll catch you next time. Thank you again, sir, for joining me, Gil GCD. And thank you, folks of the interwebs, for joining us here tonight to Gil GCD.
Catch me anywhere. Rise to Liberty. Beware the Mockingbird. And check out my store, risetoliberty.store. I got new hoodies, long sleeve shirts, and new t-shirts. They have an awesome mind control design. So check those out.
Yes, sir. And I will have your links in the show notes for folks of the interwebs to check out, and check out more Dueling JJs coming up soon.
Yes, sir.
Any closing thoughts, statements, alibis, or baking recipes?
No baking recipes at this time. I've got to find a good one, but just be on the lookout for this stuff, because we literally live in the disinformation age, the post-truth era. We are literally in 5th generation warfare, and they are trying to take all of us down. So just be on the lookout for all of these tactics. People like me.
Look out for those tactics.
Yes, sir. Me and other JJ and plenty of other great people are trying to expose these things to make it harder for them to be able to do this. So make sure and soak up the good information while you can.
Yes, sir. Be on the lookout for those tactics, and be on the lookout for lasers. They got Ted twice, folks. Stay vigilant.
Well, that's it. That's the show here, folks. So the next time you're out on the town, visiting your local watering holes, or perhaps just meandering around, and you hear the unmistakable sounds of metal clanking, and you spot signs of a disturbance, but check your six. Look in that garbage can, because you never can tell. The GCDs may be loose in your town.